Okay. Today, we are going to talk about mistakes that I first made when I started out in voiceover so you can avoid them. We're going to take this in two paths. The first one will be practical, and the second one will be more business sav. So, I wrote down some notes. Let's see what I wrote down. Practical. When I first got started, I didn't know how to structure myself based off of the project that I was doing. I didn't even consider that that was a thing to do. All I considered was that I like to talk and that I like to read out loud and that I've done both like my whole life. So I was like, yeah, easy, right? Well, there's a little bit more tact that you need to have whenever you're approaching your projects. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. The way that you approach an audiobook is very different than the way that you're gonna approach a 60-second commercial. Or the way that you approach e-learning is going to be different technically in how you divide up your files and how you approach the project and how you know the e-learning program's gonna go versus how you're gonna do a different kind of project. So you need to have that in mind whenever you're gonna sit down and think about your approach. Don't just dive into your first audiobook with no plan like I did and have no idea when to stop yourself because you're getting too tired, you know, that kind of thing. Another thing that I used to do, which I know a lot of people do, even people who aren't voice actors, who are regular actors or screen actors or whatever it is I would over-record myself when I wasn't feeling confident. So whenever you do that, you're not doing yourself any favors. If you're not feeling like you're getting the read that you're looking for or you're not feeling confident, you need to stop what you're doing. Go take a break, get your mind in the right headspace because there's gonna be no way for you to assess the job that you're doing accurately if you're feeling insecure. That was easy. I didn't know how to soundproof properly. If you're confused about it, go see my video with my audio engineer. I interviewed him and he also has a YouTube channel that's super popular. Hi, Lenny. So, yeah, go watch that video to get some tips on how to soundproof properly, but that was huge and it was such a huge journey for me to get to the point where I am so confident in my soundproofing. I didn't know how to set my rates and I just recorded this video. I don't know which one's gonna go up first, but if it's not up already, there will soon be a video on how to set your rates in voiceover. And I'm not even gonna talk about it because you could go watch that video. And finally, I didn't understand how to get work. And lo and behold, I've made a video on that too. I'm on a roll. So I didn't know how to get work. I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to set my rates. I didn't know anything about anything. So you can go watch that video too. Okay, now we're getting on to the business sav. This is probably the most valuable information I have given yet. It feels like a secret almost, so to have some business acumen. These are some of the things that I've learned along the way. You need to know how to guide your clients' expectations. You're gonna have a lot of people approach you for work, especially in the beginning, that haven't done this before, which is why they're paying the lowest rates because they don't really know what to expect. They don't know how they're going to get their value back and what they're paying for. They don't really understand the whole field, and it's your job to guide them in that journey. So whenever they approach you, like you're the leader, you're the tour guide, basically. Like you need to take them by the hand and understand their level of understanding about what to expect. Does that sentence make sense? You need to take them by the hand and guide them through the whole process. So let them know what to expect. Tell them when you're gonna have deadlines to them. Ask them if they have any questions. Think about very common questions that you come up against, or even think about issues that you've had with clients in the past and try to get ahead of it to understand what your client needs and to be able to address things before they bubble up. How to negotiate your rates. This is a constant learning situation. So, like I mentioned before, I made that video on how to set your rates in Voiceover, and negotiation is also part of the process. And if you're going to be flexible, if you decide that you want to be flexible, which is a good idea to be, agents are also flexible whenever they're negotiating rates. So you want to learn how to negotiate. And the approach that you want to take is one of no conflict. Some people, when they aren't super confident in negotiations and setting rates, they don't quite know how to handle a negotiation, and they come at it from a defensive perspective. And I'm sure there's a trillion billion books written about how to negotiate, which I'm sure would be beneficial to learn. But in the short scope of this video, I'm gonna say try to be flexible. If your client is nervous about a negotiation of rates, it's like, let them know that it's a very normal thing. Like, they have a budget, you have set rates. How can you meet somewhere in the middle, or create some kind of agreement that is beneficial for everyone? Okay. Another very important thing that I've learned, which I'm sure would be helpful for any kind of business, is how to see everything that happens as an opportunity for your benefit and for everybody's benefit in a situation. You're going to come across a lot of situations that you've never dealt with before because you've never done this before. And you want to get in the right headspace all the time. I mean, don't bully yourself to always be in the right headspace, but you want to always make sure that you're in the right headspace and in a very receptive mode before you even start your work day. As your clients learn from you, you also learn from your clients. So let's say that you didn't, consider the fact that they don't know quite what tone they want, or maybe they've never worked with you before and they've sent over this very large recording for you to do. Let's say you've never done a recording this big, and it's maybe 1,200 words, and you've never done that before. And you've never worked with this client before. So you go ahead, you record the whole thing, you send it over, and they want a full re-recording because you didn't get right on the tone. You could be annoyed by that. You could be discouraged by that. It might hurt your feelings a little bit that they didn't like the tone that you picked, and you might feel a little defensive. So, obviously, that's like, if you're taking it the wrong way, you need to learn how to take it the right way. And mistakes are going to happen. You're going to learn things along the way. And this has been a learning opportunity for you. So the next time you get a larger project, go ahead and send them a tonal sample of what they need. And understand that you're here for them. This is their project and they're paying you. So it's your responsibility to make sure that everything is communicated clearly and that you guys are on the same page, to maintain the efficiency of how the project goes by. So once you start to see it from a beneficial perspective, then you start to approach your clients from that beneficial perspective, and things always tend to turn out well, as opposed to if you got offended and then quickly wrote an email back and things got a little bit sour, or, it gets a little bumpier. And finally, you always want to think about your client's needs, and this is something that you kind of have to learn along the way. If you're not used to thinking about other people's needs, not in a selfish way, but if you're not used to anticipating their needs, if you're not used to kind of quickly identifying how comfortable they are working in this field, if they've done this before, and you know that they kind of need to be guided. If you're thinking ahead to questions that they may have in the future and you're addressing them earlier on, then it makes the whole process much smoother. So you always want to be thinking about your client needs. I don't think I have anything else to say, so ask me questions. Bye.